Hey, good evening. I'm back at the helm as the host of the Black Super Friends podcast. I'm not feeling my best, but I got a lot to give y'all tonight, and I love to give. Hey, first, I'm joined by, I'm just going to say we're running at 75% capacity tonight. We're missing the dark one. I'm pretty sure he'll come in late as usual. Hey, I want to start off by introducing the man that really sticks with his team. It's a real up and down relationship. I
Be careful.
know.
Be careful. He's been very sensitive on the internet about any cowboy hate. So just tread lightly, please.
You mean cowboy slander, as cowboy fans like to say? Listen,
Anything. He's
There you
been
go.
snapping on
There
everybody.
you go, dog.
I,
I just
I
I
haven't watched
agree.
any football, so did y'all win?
No, we lost, and it's a shame. And you're right. I would no have no listen. I make no excuses when we suck. Right? We was up 17 points to a sorry team and blew it. That's not my grief. My grief is when your team is 3-9. Your team is 1-11. Your team ain't never beat nobody. Your team ain't making it to the playoffs. Your team not in the NFC. Your team not in the NFC East. My team has nothing to do with your team. But then you send me the first text, the first post, and you can't wait to say something about the Cowboys. Bro, every week all I care about is the Eagles and the New York Giants and the Washington Redskins. Then when we get to the playoff time, I look at the 49ers because they're the NFC. I don't give a damn what. Like right now, the Patriots just had the dumbest play in the world. And everybody tells me about the Cowboys when we still went clinched the playoffs last night. It's like, bro, I don't understand like the hatiness. Like that's the hate. Them same people that say they're not haters. When that is hate, bro. My winning has nothing to do with your team, but you find joy in my team losing. Like the Patriots, nothing happens in the AFC has to do with me. Nothing. Unless me and Tootie just, when he like the Patriots, me and him will go back and forth because that's his team. But I'm saying I got people who Raiders fans text me, aha, y'all lost. Bro, y'all suck. Bro, they might sell y'all franchise again. And you're texting me, Dolphins fans. Bro, y'all were just number one in the AFC. Y'all might not even make the playoffs. Bro, what is we talking about here, bro? We lost to the Jaguars and still in fifth place. We could lose our next 3 games and still be the fifth seed. Bro, what are we talking about here, bro? That's my whole gripe with sorry people who don't focus on their team. That's it. I'm sorry for that explosive beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So you might go.
Well, I'm sorry. Group therapy is one of a kind, so I'm glad that you got it out. I feel like those levels really just leveled out. Now, the man who, let's just be honest, is one of the most arrogant motherfuckers when his team is winning, has every right to feel such a way because them boys really look pretty decent right now. And they've been right there at the door. And somebody slammed it in their face a few times. But hey, man, I haven't watched a lot of football, but I did see y'all when y'all beat us like a pinata. And hey, I like it. On both sides of the ball, you got a little offense, got a little defense. So you look decent, man. So I'm going to introduce the man who is a 49ers fan. Tonight, you will know him as Chris Leo, a.k.a. Black Men Lives Matter. Trademark.
Yes. We 49ers. I think we're on a 5-6 game winning streak. We look confident. I'm gaining more confidence in my quarterback, Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. The defense is stout, been stout all season. And again, I'm going to say kudos again to Shanahan, the head coach. Watching that offense it's amazing to see what he does with those players, man. I look forward to I look forward to the playoffs. We've been in the Super Bowl a couple of times in the last 10, 12 years. We've been to Super Bowl twice, I think. So it's time to go ahead and win one. That's our quest for 6.
All right. Listen, I'm going to run through that thing tonight real good. So I want to say this without pausing. Before I go, I'm going to go through this topic first. Never in history has there been an undefeated season, and Jackson State ran after that, and they had a spectacular season. They had a lot of fanfare. It was covered. HBCUs was the target this year. Deion Sanders and Jackson State came up short by one game, and it's not one play like people are trying to market the game. But I must admit, when I went back and watched it, I liked the game. Despite what the score looked like, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a good game for the culture. Deion Jackson State team, which was undefeated in the regular season, lost their final game in the Celebration Bowl to, I believe it was North Carolina Central, North Carolina of the MEAC conference. So, one of the plays where this young man dropped the pass, he was, it happens in football, and it's sad to say that he's been receiving death threats, and people have been really trolling him on the internet, but as athletes ourselves, we know it don't come down to one play. It's easy to put it on somebody, but if you watch that game, in retrospect, I'm pretty sure Coach Brown will go back and try to do some things differently. But I was impressed with Shador. Despite the turnovers in that game, I thought he looked decent. And Travis Hunter made a spectacular catch. But that Celebration Bowl with all that Black love in that attendance, I thought it was a big win for sports, even with Deion leaving. And Coach TC will be taking over Jackson State, who was a Jackson State alumni. And hopefully you get some people to stay, because a lot of people hit the portal, but, the show must go on. I'm going to go to our sports analyst, Black Men Lives Matter, Chris Leo, to ask you your thoughts on that game and the season.
Well, I didn't watch it, to be honest with you. I was quite disappointed at some of the reactions from our people with the whole Deion situation, especially some of the people at Jackson State. I seen some defacing of demands picture. Some information came out about him getting the stuff broken into that, and that was prior. But I think that what I would like to wonder is how many players played. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times the trend now is to not come to your bowl game, don't risk injury for kids that's possibly going to the next level. And I think some of them kids was in the portal. I don't know how many of those kids played, so that probably had something to do with the loss. But kudos to Jackson State as a program. Kudos to Coach Prime. I look forward to seeing what Coach TC got going on. I think that it should have made everybody happy. They got a black coach, ingrown coach that came from the system, that got brought up to the system. So that's something to celebrate. I don't see enough celebration of that. I think that we got to stop running to other cultures and other people for us. If we have a problem, if we think that HBCUs is on a lower level, then it's us. It's on us to pour into those HBCUs and come to the games. The same thing, the argument with the WNBA. If you can't argue about it if you're not the one going to the games and supporting the product and stuff like that. So kudos to everybody at Jackson State on another amazing season. It's unfortunate they couldn't get that last game, but I think overall, from where it came from, it was amazing 3 years.
Yeah, and to add to your point, I forgot to mention that, Chris, a lot of the players, I guess, in protest to Deion's leaving, did not participate in the bowl game. But Deion leaves them with a new stadium, a new field, a new locker room. One of the points we didn't cover last show was the fact that Deion makes money off of those sales, and that ended up being an issue where we found out that, hey, 60,000 people in attendance, and he gets the ticket sales. However, when those tickets come in, there's only 24,000 in attendance. So that money adds up after, 12, 13 games. If that's how you're supposed to be bringing that money back. But hey, just like a good church, you always got thieves in the temple. Super Mario Sr., what's your thoughts about the game, the season, and the departure?
I share Chris sentiments on a lot of stuff you just said, but I do say if you follow, this might be something that people will argue from HBCUs, but MEAC is the stronger conference of the two. Mm-hmm. So, they have more profound football and conference teams in their conferences. I could say that, like before it was PWIs and HBCUs when they separated, and then let black kids into PWIs. the MEAC was the strongest, the top level of schools out of HBCUs. So I always say that, you know, Jackson State was great in everything Deion did, but at the end of the day, it used to be Texas Southern and FAM. That's it. Then everybody else was just band, and you go there and hang out. You know what I'm saying? Like Deion said, what Horace alluded to. When you go to Jackson State, that was a poor school. They had nothing. They ain't had no practice school. That's how most of the teams in the SWAC and some of them yet is just nothing. Deion totally transformed. And it's like Chris said, me and my wife was on anniversary weekend, and we was in when we came back this weekend, we stayed an extra day and kind of had like a little staycation, and then it just happened to be in one of the hotels that was in northern Atlanta, and Jackson State. A lot of their people was there. So after they lost, you know, I get to talk to people in the lobby and stuff like this, and just hearing what older black men and women feel about this, it was like shameful. They was like ashamed that they was doing, you know what I'm saying, Deion like that. So it was good to hear from people, you know, in the roots of it, knowing that that's not the sentiments that they said. And most of the time that slander was coming from outside of Jackson State. So that was good because they seemed so appreciative, the people I met, and so happy. And so, you know what I'm saying, like you alluded to, like I said last time, you were trying to say that Deion is going to promote somebody who now gets to be a head coach. And the good thing about this is, and I'm so happy, and I'm going to let Zay go. Now it's Deion homeboy who's the coach of Jackson State, right? Who never turned his back on him. Like you said, alumni who been there, who the kids love. So guess what happened? He didn't jump on that that bandwagon that was tearing Deion down. So now when Deion gets his resources, guess what he does? Pass them right back down to his homeboy and keep the pipeline going. So when you got to enter the portal, now it's a pipeline from Jackson State to Colorado. So you can get a good linebacker who couldn't get the SAT scores right, or had to spend 1 year in the HBCU and shoot them right to Division double 1A ball and instantly into the NFL. That's a pipeline. And I think a lot of times people overlooking that we building steps to get more and more, you know, black kids into an economically better situation. So I'm sorry Deion lost, but I'm so happy about what his steps he's doing. And I'm so proud of what he's doing for us as a people.
Xavier.
My brothers, how y'all doing? Pardon my tardiness. Everyone in TV land, salutations, greetings, all that stuff. How y'all doing? Talk to me, guys. I know I'm coming in late. What are we hitting Deion up about, man? What are we talking?
What? Hell no. We're going to the next
It
topic.
is a question. You can answer it or not. You know,
We're not,
talking,
no
but if
way,
not,
sir.
then don't worry. Go rotate.
I
came to give y'all some flavor. Let's go.
Boy, you need to get out that Jack, that J. What's that? J and E and J. Listen.
No, that's the shit you drank.
Listen. So you know what? I said we had topics, but I'm gonna make the producers mad tonight. Want to cover something that bothers me. But listen, if you listen to Bow Wow, you need a good belt on your ass. You too grown to be acting like that. Lil Romeo. I want y'all to look at, and this is for the audience. Amari Stoudemire had a case where it was some, domestic situation all over the news, right? Allegedly. He made a statement, blah, blah, blah. The Lil Romeo thing, with his daddy, all over the place getting shared. Bow Wow disrespected Jermaine Dupri. So I really wanted to paint a trend where people really don't see it. Why is it when it comes to something with us, black men, boy, it gets sensationalized, and you'll see we don't even know we share it too. But all the other stuff going on, Brett Favre stole all that money. Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of rape today. You ain't heard none of this stuff. But every time you look around, it's some kind of story about us. And I just wanted to highlight that to the people in the audience today to see, to start training yourself to see the media is a piece of work. And we're always, as Chris said, the black man is always the target. And if you listen to it enough, it will make you prejudiced and biased against black men. So I didn't know if y'all seen that news today with Bow Wow, who Jermaine Dupri is been his probably only male source of fatherhood, made his career. I said it made your career. Then you got Romeo venting. This whole new thing with social media where young men go to social media to vent. It's not essential men skills. And I know we were supposed to talk about some other stuff, but I needed to run through that real quick, man, because it's not the way to go. And that disrespect to me got blasted. And on one of the posts today, I had a young woman. She just went hard at P. And I was like, P came on and said, hey, I don't get it right. I don't always get it right. I'm trying. Maybe I made a mistake here and there. And to see how, I'm sorry, black women went at black men, man, I don't know if I blame the media or I just blame ignorance. Or I don't know where the disconnect come from, but I really want to mention that to y'all real quick. Get your thoughts, Chris. I'll go around the horn. That bothered me today.
Oh yeah, this is you threw a curveball. So I think this is something that I've been complaining about a lot, man. The whole lack of respect for black men, especially OGs, man. We can learn so much from them, and we choose to, talk about them when they get old. We choose to disrespect older rappers and musicians and things like that. As for even with fathers, I don't know that the Stoudemire situation is in depth. I haven't read into it, but that's another thing that how the system comes in and take away the authority of the black man. Now, the small clips that I've seen and read, he was disciplining his daughter for being disrespectful to her mother, I guess, or something like that, or her grandmother. I'm not sure, but that's another thing when the media tells you to protect black women. I think that's what he was trying to do. I'm not sure on that situation, but with the Romeo thing, man, I don't know what's Romeo's big beef, because I think that besides Lil Romeo, because that's when I think P had more control. He's, as a grown adult, he's made music, so that money should go to him. As a grown adult, he's been in different movies. That money should go to him. When they was putting out shoes, I thought he was the face of some of these shoes. So I don't understand how you can blame your dad when, as a grown man, you was making money. I don't know how is that under the whole umbrella. And as far as P, I don't know this situation in depth, and Zay is a tax expert on this show, so he can maybe discuss this. When I read Rich Dad Poor Dad about Robert Kiyosaki book, he talked about leveraging debt. So a lot of times, I don't know if you have a Christmas party at the job that you work at. A lot of times the companies throw Christmas parties at the end of the year. They spend a lot of money on those things, and they do that to write things off. That's why they buy expensive cars for your business. That's why they go on trips at the end of the year, because they got to write that money off. So I'm thinking, so when I seen Romeo, he talked a lot about getting gifts and things like that. It's similar to what I heard Lil Wayne talk about. He was getting a lot of gifts. I think that maybe what was going on. Again, I don't know much about this subject, but it's just really unfortunate. And I agree with what you're saying, Horace. The disrespect for black men in general, and especially older father figure men, is sickening to me.
Artie boy.
First of all, I want to say I definitely agree with Horace by saying it should have been left off the internet. But I think we would be remiss as to understanding that I don't think we get to pick and choose what's left off the internet. I think that in the times that we're in right now, 95% of the stuff that's shared on the internet shouldn't be on the internet. So I think, honestly, that's not saying just for Bow Wow and Lil Romeo. Shit, 95% of the people we know who not famous should leave their stuff off the internet. And I think that just speaks to the time. I believe back in the old days, it would have been Bow Wow in the barbershop talking shit about P, and it would have left there. But nowadays, we have the internet. Well, now you can express yourself with a click of your phone, and they go worldwide. And like Horace alluded to, then all the clickbait for the internet and for all the sites, they quick to post it because they know what it's going to do. Master P beefing with Son, run it up. And so it's two birds with one stone. I get a lot of traffic to my site, and I get to bring the bigger thing is I get to bring down the black men, both Romeo, because he's a man now, and P. Because at the end of the day, when you listen to whoever side you on, they're both saying they're broke. So right now, the base of this story is we're broke. So now, no matter who wins this, Romeo is saying we're broke. So Master P now, if he wanted to go throw lectures on how to do money, if he wanted to go do stuff now, everything you've been telling us over that, we got a question because your son is saying we broke and we've been broke. Now, when Romeo said he just lowered his standard and his payout because now all the people are going to ask for a high payout are going to say, why should I have to pay you a lot of money? Because you're broke and you need money. So I think that sometimes people got to understand that when you're looking at stuff, it don't help you in no kind of way. So I agree with that. But then I look at on the other side, just to play devil's advocate, because Chris brought up a good point, and it made me think. And he was like, well, damn, Romeo been grown for a while. So his money should affect him, au contraire. If money is set up in certain ways, they can attest to this. You make the money. You being grown don't say who's over your money. If P set up a financial institute that had already had lawyers, already had bankers, and Romeo bought into that, then that means he still had the same thing. Hence the person you brought up, Lil Wayne. When he got grown, he still was under Baby's Institute. So he still went to Baby's lawyers, to Baby's. So no matter what, so if I set it up to go to these accounts and to do this, and this, then that's the way it's gonna keep going until you see otherwise. And if you my daddy, I think you have my best interest. So why would I go against you until I find out that you've been taking all my money, and I think that you've been telling me one thing, and you've been paying all your bad taxes off that you've been misappropriating funds with. That's what Romeo's saying. That my brothers and sisters, whether it's true or not, reading into it, that's what he's been saying. We've been living check to check. We haven't had no allowance or been able to pay for stuff. My brothers and them are asking me for money. I'm going to you for money. You telling me to hold on, but you've been paying all your taxes so you can keep the houses in the facade to look good in front of everybody else, but your family's suffering. Once again, I must admit, that should stay off the internet. But if that is true, then that's why you have to kill it, because it's almost like you are benefiting off of all our backs, and the thing that I gave you control for, you're not helping. Like my brothers and sisters, if it is true, it's all fucked up. And you're right. I've showed shoes, I've did movies, and you're supposed to be my dad, making sure that all of us eat, but you only been looking out for yourself. So until I'm not willing to say all that P did, that he did that. So I don't know enough yet. But one thing for sure, that numbers don't lie.
I just think it's bad timing, man. Before Jose go the horse, I just think it's bad timing, man. They just suffered a huge death in the family. I just don't think it's the time.
I think that's why it's doing it. Like P said he grieving and lashing out in the wrong way. I totally agree with that. That was his closest sister. If you don't know, after me reading, because I didn't know this, I'm sorry. That was Romeo's closest sister. Like they were peas in the pod. So now the effect of him is like he hurt. That's why he said, no matter I know who she was to you, but no matter how much you hurt, that's my little girl. So you see what I'm saying? This is just a sad situation altogether. I agree, Chris, because from what they say, she was the staple of the family's happiness that kept everybody. She probably was the one who kept P and Romeo from arguing at each other all the time and fighting at each other all the time. You know, it's always got that one in that family that is the rock. And now she gone, and I hope this the end of it and it don't get worse.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like you said, Mario, that event session diminished the brand. But second of all, when you think about all of that stuff going too, it's just not a good look. You know, that clickbait is going out there, but it really don't help at all. Because most people sharing don't give a damn about y'all. They want to see y'all that's been praised as being this example, being banished and being shown to be ain't shit. Zay.
So, man, we talked about that, or we had some discussions about these different interviews that we've been seeing with men going to the social media that out, whether it be fathers, mentors, wives, girlfriends, all that other stuff is not manly. Me and Chris say this all the time. We always say, why not call that person or go and go see that person? But as you can see that an easy thing for everyone to do. So, but I don't condone going straight to the internet about anything. That should have been in-house, and we should have known nothing about it. Unfortunately, we do. And that's why we are where we are. So it's a lot of layers, especially to the Master P and Lil Romeo deal that we don't know anything about. But some things are true. One, they are both grieving. And a lot of times people don't have the same grace and mercy that they want for others. They don't give it out. So I think that some of that should be exhibited, but it's not. That's what strong Black men do. They lead by teaching these things, and that's one of those things that definitely needs to be taught. But again, P saying some things like Hardy alluded to, and Romeo was saying some things. Both of them we should know nothing about. It's not any of our business, but they're both valid. But I still believe both men need to sit down and have a conversation, feelings aside. I tell you these things because this is what needs to be done. I'm not saying that they're easy things to be done, but they're what need to happen is what I'm saying. As far as Chris was saying about the money that was made, Mario, you hit it right on the head. We don't know the extent of his contract. He just hopes that his father didn't, do him dirty. But as he said, look at Wayne. They said father and son, and he still got done dirty. So that could be something that's going on. But again, we don't know nothing about that, and we should not. Last but not least, what Romeo is saying to his father is valid. Now, what happens a lot of times, especially in our Black community, is because I'm your father, you're supposed to just obey me, blind allegiance. But if something is incorrect in a relationship, I don't care if it's father and son or if it's woman, whatever work, this needs to be discussed. You should always be able to come back to the table and renegotiate contracts, or at least talk about a contract so that everyone's crystal clear. And somewhere along the line, it got hazy and it got foggy to where we're starting to see the remnants of that. And again, still not a fan of that because, as Horace had said, it does diminish the brand. Like I hear both of them talking about family, but I don't think that both of them realize that they don't have family's best interest at heart with the way that they're going about things right now. You never hear about anything that the Waltons are going through or anything like that because it just doesn't happen. And we got to realize, and this is something that I was saying way back when we were talking about Kanye and we were talking about Kyrie, Black people got to stop getting into this social media swing of I want to be trending, I want to be the news of what's going on, and just actually sit down and talk with each other about, all right, where are we messing up? Where are we trying to go? And just try and get those things accomplished. But again, like I said, it's not something that's easy. It's easier said than done. So we're seeing some of the remnants, I guess, I guess us Black men missing in the homes. And as you see, with PP was actually there, probably monetarily wise, but he's not there for them the way that they need. And that's still a big thing inside of our Black community. If your some of the fathers that are here that are doing well, because they're busting the hump to make sure that everyone is good, they don't get a chance to spend that time with their family the way that they should, and it's missing. And it comes to the forefront when they get older. It's all good and fine and dandy when they're younger, but anything that's done in the dark comes to the light, and now it's coming to the light, unfortunately, in a bad way for those guys. And I dislike that, but it's what's going on. So, what up, Chris?
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, man, I think that we got a great example of that with the Luke and Fat Joe situation, where they both had a different opinion of a situation, but they both made it public on the internet, and then they both settled it public on the internet. When you're not lying, and you're not trying to hide things from the public, you should be able to do that. I mean, we do live in an internet age. So if me and Zay has a problem, I'm not lying about it. Zay not lying about it. We should be able to get together. We could be able to do it on Instagram Live, just like Fat Joe and Luke did, and hash it out. And then that's the end of it. I think when people lie and when people try to hide things, that's where the issues come in.
But more so this, I think, Chris, it's not even about lying and hiding things, because you got to remember, everyone has their point of view. You got to be able to not only receive it and dish it. Why I'm saying that is because you have a viewpoint. You want to speak, because it should be all about understanding at the end of the day so we can move past this. But unfortunately, a lot of people have these conversations because they want to prove who's right and who's wrong. And if you guys are trying to move forward, like we had the example of with Fat Joe and Uncle Luke, then you can hear one side, see the points in it, say, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, you know what I mean? And both of you get going in one direction versus being two rams butting heads because you saw it this way and you saw it that way, and we both don't get anywhere, we stay stagnant. But again, people got to learn those things, and that's why I said it's easier said than done, because not everyone is willing to make that sacrifice to try and get the progress done. They're worried about the accolades of, oh, I was right, I told you, or see, whatever the case may be. Which
I got a
I'm
question.
again like a fan of.
If I got time, Horace, I got a question. So to stick on this topic, how do we get on Instagram Live and talk about you stealing my money?
Well, if I didn't steal your money, and
no, but I think you did. So there's no
and you believe that I stole your money,
right?
Let's have a conversation about it.
But I'm saying, what's the conversation if I'm sitting here looking at Chris took $10 million? Because I'm saying you stole it. See, that's the difference. What Fat Joe and what them did was who did this or who did that. That could be looked at it both ways. We talked about tangible money missing. Right now, I could look at a paper and say, right here, I made this. You used this to do this. Now we can argue about the why, but the stealing of it can't be. That's not what's like with Baby. Baby could tell you why he had to end up paying Lil Wayne. The numbers don't lie. So I'm saying, what you want to talk about? Like, how can we? Because right now you have to. I agree with you. It's the lying and the withholding information, because you'll have to be willing to go online and say, yeah, I probably shouldn't have took Romeo money to do that with that. I didn't. That's a lot. That's all I'm saying. That's a lot.
But Mario, just to be fair, for discussion, Romeo's statement, what I had a problem with, first off, is saying, "Oh, you're not the person that you paint yourself to be." I felt that's disrespectful for a man, for your daddy, anyway. Second of all, he never actually said numbers. He made accusations that was broad to make it seem like his stuff. But if your daddy owed you $10 million as a man, why wouldn't you go legally? You know what I mean? Hell, Shaq just love his kid, but he just, his company or whatever, shut down one of his son's trademark attempt. That's business. So if your daddy legally owed you money and the companies are a third party, why wouldn't you go and file a arbitration, or why wouldn't you file a lawsuit, or why would you do it that way that gives a validity instead of you just putting this out there, which looks tacky? I just really couldn't. Maybe I'm biased. I couldn't get over the, oh, you're not the man you portray to be. Like from a person that made you into something. Even if your dad took money, he's built a brand and gave you enough opportunity where you can go do club appearances. You can make some money, bro. And I just feel like a lot of times these youth, it ain't enough. Like, they don't understand this. P got it from the dirt, got you above here. Like Chris said, bro, you go get in some movies, go hustle.
I think that's what it's not about, the money with Romeo. I think it's about my daddy hurt me. So I think you want him to be calculated when he emotionally hurt, because P is his daddy. P is not a mogul. P is not this great body master. That's his daddy. Like, no matter how great, I see how Shadora talked to Dion. No matter how great Dion was to us, that's my daddy. Like, okay, that might be great and all that, but my daddy's done me wrong. So that feeling right there, I think is a whole different feeling than just saying, I want to go sue my dad. It ain't business no more. This is business and personal. Because I don't think with your father, how do you separate the two? Like, it'll be hard for me to sue my daddy. I just don't know.
That damn story. It's not because he light skinned. I'm just saying, I'm triggered on the disrespect. Look, all of us have kids.
Right.
And I oftentimes have seen where the kids don't understand that the dad, a good parent wants to give the kids what we didn't have, right? And yeah, I'm biased with my own situation, but then you see the kids get up in the entitlement, the disrespect. It's like, you look at the situation with him. I just couldn't get over him saying, you're not the man you're supposed to be. Or even Bow Wow, Bow Wow's F Bow Wow. I might be biased with Bow Wow, the narcissism with that fool, but bro, Jermaine the Major, you go out there and put these statements out there. Bow Wow always doing something. I just don't like disrespect for men, for black men. So
but
maybe
I think too, you gotta realize something when you're saying that. You're saying bias and you're saying disrespect. but you never considered that he may feel disrespected. Like you said, man, you're saying all these great things that he did for his family, which we can't take away, they are. But just as I just said, those things don't be everything, and nobody's perfect. He's just simply stating what was missing, and as maybe that was Hardy or maybe it was Chris. If they sat down, had a conversation. See, one of the true things about leading, and men kind of overlook this, and they'll shade it by, oh, I was making money. It still doesn't negate the fact that you slipped, and you slipped. Only reason I'm saying that is this. Because if this is what you're doing, and this is what you're leading, and you want them to understand the legacy and keep this thing going when you're not there, you got to teach that. He needs to understand that. And what he's telling us, he don't understand. And he's no longer a little boy, so you should have been able to have a conversation with him as a man. If everything that you're talking about is legacy and you want this thing to continue, you got to teach that properly. And I don't think that that's what's happening. We're seeing the kickback from that from Romeo. Unfortunately, he's not going about it the right way. Bow Wow, asshole. Simple and plain. I don't get that with him. Don't even want to try and get that attention seeking, and that's dumb.
I think it's biased.
He did.
The man who started the show said, "Bitch, JD lied."
100%. 100%. But what was Bow Wow's whole point? What do you get from that? JD,
I'm saying JD
man,
came on there and said, "I created 106 in part." Bow Wow said, "No, you didn't. These people did." The man who did it said, then Bow Wow just posted it. I just said it to you.
Did you read all of it?
Why Bow Wow came on and said it? I don't. Maybe that might. Okay, he didn't have to say it, but I'm saying JD lied.
Did you read all of it? Did you read what?
Go ahead.
Bro, you can come on and say, "Hey, that's not true." Da da da. But you come on and with this cap. Maybe that's another thing. Oh, that's kind of like, bro. That's a conversation.
You're talking about genetics. You lied. Did JD lie or not? I don't want to go there. Did JD lie or not? That's you can't overlook it.
According to Bow Wow,
you can feel how you feel.
It's irrelevant.
He lied for no reason.
It's not irrelevant.
Another black man.
That's a lie.
He took it from another black man and lied.
I tell you what, we do a show. I might feel away if I'm doing something on this show. We go after the show. We go backstage. I can't say I'm a fear if somebody say, "Oh, go off on me on air," when we can pull off to the side. So that situation, Bow Wow does stuff for attention. So there's a whole other way.
If somebody said, "I created Black Super Friends," and I gave Tootie that idea, and I'm the one who sat down with Zay, Chris, and Mario and called them up and did this. And if right now, if Toya come on there and said, "That's a lie," Tootie did that. What's the difference? That's exactly what happened. If somebody come on there and say,
you got a bigger platform.
If somebody come on there and take
we do the Black Super, the Great Debater. We do a show right now. We probably might have 1,000 views. Say we have a show. Say right now we get invited on Shannon Sharp's show. As much as we had conversation, at that moment, somebody on this cast decided to show their ass.
But that's not. I was just my bad. I thought we were talking to the point. The point is, I'm going back. JD said he did a show. You created the show. I gave you the perfect example. You created this show. If somebody was to get on TV and say, "This is the exact same thing," I don't know how you just ignored it. You created this show. If somebody was to say, "I talked to Zay, Chris, and Mario, and I created the Black Super Friends," you would be okay with it. That's crazy for you to say that online. That's crazy right now. You would not be okay with that. You would be fucking mad as hell, and you would be calling them a liar too. And you would be happy if Toya was to come on and say, "That's a lie. Tootie did it." You would be happy.
I wouldn't. I swear to God, I wouldn't. Amazing. It's off topic. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. Sorry, Chris.
I'm just saying it's like 9:46, and we ain't went through non-topic that we supposed to been went through. Oh, we just spent the whole show.
It's live TV, man. Sometimes you get
okay, my bad.
Emotion. He told you we were going off script, man.
Okay, my bad.
He announced that at the beginning.
Listen, man. Listen. Sometimes we had to get this off our chest, B. You know what I'm saying?
Got you, money.
Son. All right, where you want to go next, Chris?
I don't know. Who knows? This is the topsy-turvy show right there at this point.
Hey, man, listen.
He took a mind of his own.
It be like that.
Yeah, dude. It was a good conversation. I think right now, everything y'all saying.
It's four straight men having a conversation. Right.
But since we talking about Black men disrespect, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to the Short Crew, because Short guys are winning at this point in time. Tory Lanez look like he's going to be able to beat this case. 5'4", 5'5". Lionel Messi just won the cup. 5'7". Gunner is out of jail. 5'9". Short guys are having one hell of a year. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, sad to say. Well, hey, Thug, hope you get free, dog. It ain't looking good.
Nah,
You're definitely gonna be in there smoking on what you say you smoking on for a couple of years. You're getting the raw stick right now, man.
You know, I can't wait to talk about they say the Tory thing will be closed up this week. Cause I've been following it very closely. I took a lot of notes. I've been tuning in on some people like who bias on both sides. I've been tuning in on Tory people lives and on Megan people lives. Then I've been on people who just been neutral, who just been reporting the news. And it's so crazy how you can say the same thing in court and some people look at it two totally different ways. That's why I think it's so dangerous by facts. Like a fact is a fact. And I'm just saying they lied. Just saying it. It's crazy.
They tried to stick them
hold off on
the charges.
The verdict. Are we gonna hold off on the verdict?
Yeah, they try to stick them.
I want to have conviction about how ruthless I talk.
Okay, we're gonna hold up on the topic and to the verdict. Then
they tried to add 2 more felony charges today with him.
For no reason, y'all. They pulling their straws too. You're 100% right. But the good thing about it is the fact that it should be next Monday when we come on, we'll have a verdict. According to the judge, it should be 2 more days, and then they're gonna give it to the jury by Thursday. So by Monday, hopefully, we should have a verdict.
It might be early. People trying to get home for Christmas.
That's true too. That's true. Yeah. But the judge kind of like he tired of the sideshow. Nah, he like, nah, bro, come on, get this over with now. Because the prosecution is like, bro, you trying to get Tory, or do you just really want the truth? And I had to see that. Now, that's why I think this is so dangerous, bro. This is so dangerous because when you start as Black people, we can't afford to pick sides and then throw the law out and say until proven innocent. Until proven guilty. We can't. I don't care if I don't like the person. I need them to have a fair trial because as Black people, we don't get fair trials. Guilty or not, we can never avoid that because they're going to use that against us and start railroading us ass again and say, y'all asked for it.
Yeah. Can I say what makes me sad about this case? It's the fact that in my old age, I would say this, the overcast is you got a young man, and I'm not, I'm going to be biased. With Megan, if it's a lie, she's taking that lie to the door, right? Because she didn't lie on Gary. Listen, her credibility is a little lost. But I'm saying, I hope that, hey, he didn't kill you. You got some fragments. And I know that sounds insensitive to the women. But the possibility of sending this boy to prison for some years, I hate that it got to this point because the people trying this case and defending this case give a damn about neither one of y'all. Y'all have spent millions on this case. It's good for TV. It's good for the blogs. But at the end of the day, both of y'all, I wish they could have came together to settle this off screen with and her comments feeling like, with the, I feel like a man would have killed me. I just feel like when the facts came out in the case, like Mario said, it kind of make you look like, none of this stuff really gets out into the trending news. But I hate to see that young brother possibly even go to jail. I wish that these 2 Black people who had something going on, and it seemed like a lot of people had something going on, could have just said, fuck it, it was a thing, we messed up, go ahead.
So I got a question for y'all. This is off the subject too. All this stuff that came out, right? And I just seen what she said is making my relationship suffer. So Partisan been there the whole time now. But now every time she go to court for shooting Tory, you hear about her screwing another dude and another dude and another. So at that point, as Partisan, because he ain't spoke up yet. No, he ain't said nothing. It's in recent. But she came out with a thing and said it's making my relationship suffer because we see that Megan was, I think, told him one side and he wanted to believe it. Now the facts coming out like, bro, you was really, whether Tory shot you. Now I'm not talking about that point. I'm talking about you was really trying not to leave Tory. You was mad because Tory was hollering at Kylie. Like you was infatuated by Tory. Then you was fucking the day before that. Then you was talking with this other dude. Like all this stuff. Now this is your lady. Fellas,
Your lady.
what can I have
Meg
something?
the Lion. Stallion.
I want to know. I want to know what y'all think about that. Because how would you feel? Because now you love her now, because he love her, and that's his girl. And the whole time you've been thinking, like Chris said, little dude done shot my girl because she hurt his ego.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last thing I want y'all to answer this separately too. The last time I'm saying, do y'all really believe Tory 5'2" ass could have beat? I seen both of them women. Could have been beating both of them women at the same time. So much that he had to go get a gun. Him both drag one by the ponytail, beating the other one. Like, bro, I ain't saying I'm a man.
Yes.
I'm saying that is crazy.
Absolutely. I think Tory was beating both of them.
I see what you did, man.
That's clickbait, baby.
Bro,
That's crazy.
Let me ask y'all, for the dude she dating, how trash you got to be that Meg is constantly out there getting new meat?
It ain't even got to be that, bro. You ain't got to be
her.
trash. She might have a high sex drive. You don't know that. That's bias.
I can't fulfill your high sex drive, Stallion.
Apparently not.
Well,
she's one after the other, my boy.
But when did this happen?
I gotta agree with Tootie on this, bitch. There's no way you're gonna tell me I'm the king and you just leave my back door open every day. Jesus Christ, this is you. I'm seeing pictures of I got a big strong man. Another man. The next thing you know, this all come out, and every midget in Hollywood been smashing you. And I go to the gym 20 times a day. I'm 6'5". I'm the girl who everybody wants. I'm big chest and all this. You got all these little leprechauns coming in here running the game. Oh boy, I would be mad. I would be a hot nigga. I'd be so fired.
But it's a long list too, dog. So damn, you the catch, you the prize, and you just letting everybody get on the ride.
What you said about the town bicycle?
What?
No, we are not going to be able to transition to male suicide like the show.
Suicide is high right there. That's why male suicide is high.
That's the perfect one.
Yeah, that's male suicide is high right behind that. I'm going to the gym. I'm working out. I'm making sure that myself physically is what she wants. I'm making sure financially, and to find out nigga don't have none of that, getting all of that. Yeah, I'm gonna go kill myself because not everybody's strong enough to handle that.
Please though.
I've been on these supplements that it took meat away.
And he been vocal. Remember, he been trying to pick fight with anybody who said something to make it.
Yeah,
this is my queen, and I love her. And you a lying bunch of jokers. And then did another accusation and another accusation. Now he's sitting back like I've been
thou fool,
bro. Zay, what Tila say about pumping them?
Because now every time you go to a Hollywood party, you got to look crazy around. Yeah. Now you go to the Rock Nation party and everybody. Now you like, man, I gotta leave this. I'm straight, bro.
Imagine if he was in our crew.
Kill his ego.
Imagine if he was in our crew, bro. Oh, the roast session under the lights would be amazing. Hey, bro.
Then we got to have a conversation like, damn, we were just playing like that. We didn't pay you to go do nothing.
Bro, you over here, you know what the Stallion at right now? It don't take but a minute to get in. Listen, so let's do that, right? Because a lot of dudes do find out that their wife cheats and they commit suicide. People lose their job, commit suicide. The reason that suicide is such a trending story this week is because of famed public figure DJ Twitch, who was just on social media, who has a large fan base known for his segments where he's dancing. He's doing segments with Ellen, who he's been with for a lot of years. After making some reels 24 hours before, allegedly the story says his wife says he left home with nothing. He left his car, left his keys, everything where he left. She went to the police station saying that her husband was acting erratic, yada, yada, yada. While at the station, the police get a call about gunshots reported at a hotel blocks from their home. And DJ Twitch allegedly commits suicide. The whole internet, from social media, Twitter, Facebook, a lot of people were upset. A lot of people were confused. Just like most suicide cases, they feel like they didn't see the signs because 24 hours before, he was making videos where he was dancing. I know he had one where he was talking about being an activist, which might have been his last video. However, the media paints a picture, and I don't know the actual facts for it, that says the suicide of black men is trending and is on the rise. But they don't say what's the percentage and what percentage it went to. So if you start hearing that, I kind of see the subliminals in that as well. But the question actually was, I want to ask you guys, uh, what makes men commit suicide? And then I want to go to the other conversation, which will be the B. Uh, One of our female listeners, Nini, said, how do you create a safe space for men to be vulnerable? But first off, I want to ask you that question. What makes a man commit suicide, and what did y'all think about the DJ Twitch news? Did it trigger you? Did it make you think about suicide of another friend? Because it's really put in front of your eyes constantly, making it seem like black men are mentally unstable or emotionally unstable or we can't handle it. I'm going to go to Mario first.
I think your final words was the basis of what I think I'm gonna begin talking about. It's just the propaganda pushing that black men is so high. Black men are high, but we definitely not the highest majority of suicidal deaths. But it seems like every time it's a black man, it's like I think that agenda what Horace has alluded to is just getting painted. Like black men are unstable, even at our happiest, even at we can't take it. You give us all the money in the world, you can give us a happy life, but we just can't take it. We don't have what it takes to be able to take it, right? And I think that's come to the point of me and Chris was talking about, and Horace, we was talking about this pre-show, right? I think it's that a lot of stuff is coming at us right now all so fast, right? They want us to unpack everything. They want us to go see some people. They want us to get in touch with our emotions. But the course of our life is still not changing. It's still hard on the black man. The world has not changed around us enough for us to feel safe enough to just let all that out, right? Because when we start letting it out, then you soft, then you're weak, then you get taken advantage of, then you're undateable, then shut up, nigga, and make it. And then you start venting. You get too much of your emotions because then you letting it out and nobody telling you how much to let out, when not to let it out, because you still got to go face the world that's telling you and beating you down every day. It's almost like you want me to be softer and go back into the same world that's been trying to put their foot on my neck for years after years after years. And I think a lot of people gonna speak to it, right? And most of them gonna be some philosophical woman who's gonna say something beautiful. But at the end of the day, to walk out that door as a man every day, that's a whole different level of toughness it takes. And I think the message for black men right now is don't be so tough. Let it out. And I think that's a dangerous, and I'm always say that. I tell people who are psychologists running the show, I think that's dangerous because the world haven't let up on us enough to let it all out. I think you, like people say, stay dangerous. I don't believe in that, but you got to stay tough and enriched and put into the point and understand the battle and the fight. We're still warriors every day we leave the house. And I'm sorry, and some stuff you just gotta shut up, take it, and life's not gonna be fair. Life's gonna be hard. Life's gonna be fucked up. But guess what? You a strong ass black man. You got everything it was made in this world to handle that. Let's get that message in there. It's gonna be messed up, but you're equipped to handle everything because you're a king by nature. And I think that's what's driving a lot of men. Because when me and Horace said something, when you start unpacking all that trauma, where does it leave you? Where does that leave you?
Naked and exposed.
And that might make you like, I can't, it's just too much to take over. And then next thing you know, you don't even know if you're happy. Oh, did this really make me happy? Do this really make me sad? I didn't even know my daddy abused me. Oh, this woman don't really love me. Now you just trying to, when you had a life, go to work, go with my kids, do this, and you can obtain that. But taking that blue pill and just seeing freedom, and it's like, and then sometimes you can't take that. And I think that's when it's like, I don't know what to do, so I go.
Yeah.
Zay, how you feel about suicide?
Whew. Boy, that's rough. I never feel like that's the right answer ever. I can't really give you an accurate take on that because that's never ever entered my mind. God cover me so that don't ever come into it. But I don't ever see that as a way out. So, I hate to sound insensitive, but I can't respect that because what Mario is saying is absolutely true. You got to go and figure it out. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? I've been down that road, so I know you got to figure it out. Nobody's going to hold your hand. Nobody's going to help you. You got to get up, put your pants on the same way and face it. So we do have a lot of therapists that come on, both men and women, and a lot of them always say, unpacking and open up. Mario hit on another spot. I said it. When you unpack and you become open because you're trying to do what someone told you, you become naked and exposed. Then you start another rabbit hole, which could make this suicide thing that you're talking about, Horace, a very valuable option, because now I'm open. I'm looking for somebody to help me. Nobody can't do it for you but you, right? And then you start to think less, because guess what? People have opinions, and they start throwing darts at you. Who they figure that you should be in their mind, not, who you were built to be or who you were indoctrinated to be, and then nowhere near know what you and God spoke about, knowing your purpose or anything that you're driven to do. So now you just left and you're confused and you're a mess. And as a man, guess what happens now? Well, I'm like, he's undateable. No, man, I ain't got no money, no guidance, and no women. What am I here for, Lord? So not saying that I condone it, but I can see how it can happen. But I not something that I want to do. So you gotta be mindful with all those things. I'm just gonna say this because we always speak to men. Have a plan that you can go back to. You know what I'm saying? And that's something Hardy always talks about, that vision boards, plans, purpose, things like this. Reason why I say that is that you don't get caught up in what didn't go right or what didn't go wrong. You just know what you need to do. And that's all you need is guidance. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, are misguided. So that's one of the key things. If you don't take anything from that, suicide is never the way out. I don't give a damn what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't mean to sound insensitive when I'm saying that, but I'm being honest with you. Figure some things out. Sit down with yourself if you need to and get it together, because it starts with you. You can't do nothing. Nobody can't do nothing else for you. I love the fact that we push, mental health and things like that, but they can only walk you to the water. They can't make you drink it. So you as an individual, man, woman, whoever, and again, we're harping on men, you got to figure it out. Ask for help, but start coming up with a plan for yourself. And again, suicide ain't it. But what you got, Chris?
Can you put up Amber's comment? Her last comment, please, if you don't mind. Stuff like this. There's no such thing as a safe space for men. Women come into our spaces, listen to us talk, and guess what they make it about? This is a conversation about male suicide. It should be a place where we can openly talk about this and not have to worry about the Me Too committee. But then again, here comes the Me Too committee again. So when you tell men to talk, who's listening? I said it on the show. We need better listeners. We don't need more. We don't need to talk more. We need better listeners. Nobody's listening. We can go to as many therapists as we want to. They cannot bring us to a world that accepts us the way we are. They don't. They can't create a world for us. And all I'm going to do is pay them to just tell them about how the world is. Again, see, here we go again. I don't want to.
But that's crazy, because that's what happens to us though as men. So, Chris, I hear what you're saying, and you're accurate, because we are talking about and how they deal with suicide. It shouldn't be well, women have a hard too. They have a tough. Like, we know this, women. We trying to help us too. Help us help you. We're trying to protect Black women. Things like that. It can't be. But we're not taking that away from you. We're just saying, come on, man. Don't shift the light. Focus on where it needs to. If you're gonna help. You know what I'm saying? The same way when women have a rough day at work, they come home. Let me tell you about my day. What we do? Listen. We don't tell you, it's rough on us Black men too. Yeah, that's all we're saying. Consider us.
We can't expect anything less, but more. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate, man. And when we was backstage talking about it, Hardy broke down the numbers a lot more. And one of the biggest demographic is 40 to 45, and then 65. And being in that age range, that is alarming to me. That is extremely alarming to me. What I can say is I think that I don't know much about, I don't know a whole lot about religion, but I think that that's what keeps the numbers not as high, because Hardy was saying that the numbers for male suicide is high, but it is mostly in white male suicide. Black male suicide has grew, but the numbers are still, fairly low. And I think that has to do with religion.
They sensationalize us.
we're taught in religion that's just a cardinal sin. You cannot do that. So I think that's helpful in our Christian religion that we look at it that way. I think that what stops us from doing a lot of suicide. But as far as the men that do, I honestly have no clue. I would love to hear from men that
consider that thought
that survived it or have experiences with it. But I'm just not educated on this subject at all.
You
I
know
hate
what?
the
I'm
fact they
actually,
sensationalize us, though. My bad. I hate the fact that they sensationalize us, like you
Part
were
of the
alluding
plan.
to. Yeah, see, and we don't get it. So as we talked about with like that social media thing, like you already alluded to, way more white men do it than we do. But when a black man does it, it's topic is trending. It's like, damn, we don't want to see that. Our world is already hard for us. Now we seeing someone who we deem to be successful because. I don't care what y'all think of Ellen or whatever the case may be, but if one of us made it from the hood to DJ on Ellen's show, we like that's successful. So we're seeing someone who made it to a level of success and then want to kill herself. God dang. So, it's hard on us.
Let me ask you a question. Mario said the age was what, 45 to what?
Yeah, from 45 to from it
40
starts
to
to increase
65.
at 40, but from 45 to 65 is when this that is most prevalent in men.
Okay, I'm gonna paint a picture. So I did a video the other day. It wasn't about me, but it was for our awareness. Just saying, like, when a man say, if I was to ask Chris, "Are you good?" Before our friendship got to where it was, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm straight." But if I pry and ask him again and again, he gonna break. He gonna be like, "Honestly, bro, yada yada yada." And I think I tell women sometimes I've seen my friends in their relationship. You good, babe? He be like, "Yeah," but she don't really go and tend to him to say, "Hey, you good?" Or sit down for a minute and really be attentive to say, like, even look and say, like, "Nah, you off." Or, "Hey, let's go take a ride." "Hey, babe, you good?" "Hey, what you want to do today?" Because we're trained to say, "I'm good." Paint a second picture. A lot of men I know, if I'm giving myself an example, I had kids when I was early. My kids are 23, 22, 19. So y'all know my 30s, 20s, and 30s, so I got to 40, was raising kids. That's all I knew. And then when they graduated, that's all I knew. So my identity was gone. I don't have to go to school. I don't have to go to football practice, all of that stuff, right? Then I had a career change, right? So look at DJ Twitch. Who knows what his background is? But he started making money. That don't mean he ain't still have issues. He's a person that has some issues, making a lot more money. And I think that's the thing that stood out to me with those numbers. Like, men get to a certain point and then they do unpack. But then what do I do with all this shit that I've been carrying around? So now I don't know how to process this. Third, sometimes men go to what they think is a safe place and they vent, and then a woman come back or somebody come back and bring it back. Now I feel humiliated. I'm embarrassed because I told you some intimate stuff, and every time you get mad with me, you bringing it up. There's a lot of scenarios that come to mental. I ain't gonna say mental health. Hey man, we are raised to be providers. We are raised to be strong. Forget your emotions. We come from broken homes. I got homeboys that was the man of the house at 8. Mama on drugs, dad in prison. He got to make all this shit happen. He's just a kid. And then he gets older. Those responsibilities, the people he been taking care of, they don't stop. They still on his back. And someday the dam just breaks. Because that same dude that's been doing everything he's supposed to do, one day feel like nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. If I die tomorrow, who gonna give a damn? It's so many scenarios, so many different men that have all of those type of situations. So I never say religion saves a lot of lives. But what about the guy that don't got religion? What about the guy that don't have the conviction to say maybe it's another way out? There's a guy who one day just said, I can't do another moment of this. So when people say, "Oh, how could you do that?" Well, people have everybody has a cross to bear, and there's some men and people that just say, "I just choose to lay it down right now."
And you
So
know,
back to that, check on your
Tony,
people.
Man.
Be
Tony, that's
intentional.
what you just said is so introspective because everything you said, I think, go over so many people's head when men say that. I honestly do. I think because what you just broke down is think about this. Women that want us to be their giant, right? So when you go to a safe space, even if she don't ridicule you, but if she look at you less than a giant, then it hurts your ego, and now you're striving to to build yourself back up to a place that you might can't never be because we still a human, right? So as a woman, as your girl, as your wife, or whatever, if she see you in a broken spot, now she's trying to fix it when you just had a lapse in your chink in your armor, but you still a warrior. But now she treating you like what? You need help
Handicap.
or you something wrong all the time. You know what I'm saying? Less than the man. That's another thing too. And then you just brought up the other thing. I always tell Chris, I don't know. My heart go out to people who don't have religion because the biggest hat I hang on my head every day is when I've done all I can and I can't do no more. God got me. So when I get my back to the wall and I don't have no answers and I'm scratching and I'm crying and I'm bleeding and I don't know what to do, I can say, Lord, take it from here and rest assured that he got it. That's so imagine my heart and empathy go out to somebody who get to that same point I was at and don't have that. Because then it's like you setting yourself up because that's what it was left for, to be a comfort to you. I would tell you about religion. It's not to set rules. It's not to hell you to come serve me. It's to show love and to comfort you. So if you don't have that rest assurance that God got you, well, that's a dangerous place to be. But you're right, but Horace is right. It's men out here who making it without it. And I always say those are some strong men because I don't know what I would do. I done been broke. I done been low. I done been confused. I'm a person who loves facts, who loves to prove stuff, who loves to have a plan. I done not had a plan. Didn't know where to get a plan from, but I always had God. And see, and without that, I don't think I had the faith to do the moves I would today. And I would love to talk to people who understand, like, how do you think you're gonna make it without that?
Well,
Chris,
as one of those people,
I'm about to say, let's go with it.
As one of those people, I think we depend on us. We try to think that we control as much as we can control in our lives, and whatever comes after that is just meant to happen. As far as me, I think I look at it more of being the CEO of my own company, of my own, as me as a company, and I'm the CEO of it. I have to make this thing happen. I can't get wrapped up in my emotions. And I think there's a lot of time we talk about being in relationships right now. I think that relationships is so emotional. I don't feel like I have the ability to be hurt by a woman and then still effectively parent a daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the reasons why I shy away from relationships, because of the emotional investment you got to put into it. I think that as far as doing things, I've always had the ability to just muscle through things, because I believe that mental strength is not, or mental health is not expressing every single emotion that comes to you. I think the controlling of emotion is mental health, not crying because you feel like crying or getting mad because you feel like getting mad. I think that controlling your emotions is more important. As far as the sheer belief in religion, I feel as though it's this. I have 3 guys right now that I'm sure prays for me. I'm sure of it, and that makes me feel comfort. That the reason why I don't sit here and pray, because I believe that 3 guys are praying for me. I know their mothers are praying for me. I know that other people is praying for me. Amazing. And I truly believe what people have said about God to me, that he actually knows your heart. So if I was faking this lack of belief, I would say, I think he would know. I think he knows exactly how I feel. I think he knows exactly why I feel this way. And I think in time, he will reveal himself. That's how I feel.
Let me ask you something. I don't know how many people been on child support in here. You ever been to child support court and lost? You already barely paying it, and then they tell you owe 3,000 in back child support. When we were young, you ever got worked 2 weeks, got paid, and you got like $40 to make it to the next paycheck?
Mm.
You ever mess with a girl that you should have been messing with, and she say she pregnant? There have been moments in our lives where you felt like, boy, my life is over. I cannot take it.
And we
Bro,
still
how
here.
many y'all? Everybody's had those moments, whether you're male or female, where you just feel like, boy, this is the most shittiest moment of my life. And some people don't think about tomorrow. Like, there's nothing I can do. I talked to a homeless guy the other day who, that's a story in itself. He didn't commit suicide, but he damn sure gave up. That's what he said. He said, bro, I just left. You tell everybody, I just left. Dude, hey, he got a family, wife, and everything. He's homeless right now by choice. He didn't commit suicide, but he gave up.
He didn't kill himself. He didn't kill himself, though.
So, you know, when you look at these situations, I just try to give a perspective to people that care. Like, when you think about you dealing with people every day, when you see shit, you got people that take it upon themselves to go hurt others, you know, go and do these shootings. So I take all of that into consideration when I think about people, because there's so much going on right now. And COVID was like the cherry on the top.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris.
Okay. Amber strikes again. She has a comment up here that says, holding on to that pain, how does that help? Well, how does that help anything? Well, I tell you, what instead of feeling that pain and then doing a useless thing like crying or whining about it, what we tend to do is we use it to fuel other things in life. That pain is what gets us up and make us do 10 hours a day, 12 hours at work, or go to the gym, or do an extra, do extra on your business. That pain that we have, we use it, so we bottle it up. So when we have to attack, we have to protect, we have that stored in us. And then when it's time to use it, that's why we use it effectively and correctly. I don't know what crying has ever done for me. I don't know what whining about something has ever done for me in my life. But I know what using the energy that pain gives you and then using it in the proper way. I think that's how we do it.
It builds you, Chris. I think there was a post that I posted earlier about people, the pain that they say we hold on to, and the fuel that you were saying it does. It becomes knowledge. Pain turns into knowledge, which you can try and use to guide others. Like, hey, man, don't go that way. But it starts with you. You got to be able to dig in. So that's why, like we were talking about with the suicide, that's not an option, because you don't know who's looking at you and who you can either spiral off track or inspire to be great. So that's never ever going to be an option. And so that's, like you said, you hold on to that and you use it that way. Use it effectively. Don't use it to make it your demise. That's just what comes of that. Like you said, a useless thing like crying, a useless thing like killing yourself. Oh, you really changed the demographic. You made it worse for your loved ones, your family, especially if you got kids. That's the most insensitive thing you could ever do. It's never right. So, hey, man. And if they say holding on ain't right, holding on and not doing the right things with it is what's not right. So you're right, Chris.
Well, listen, we all have pain. We all experienced some kind of trauma. Either it's going to imprison you or it's going to motivate you. And I damn sure for a long time, listen, until, let me say, I always tell y'all, as a kid, 4, 5, I'm 5 years old, I was a suicidal child. Why, I don't know. But that was a point of my life. We graduated through that. But I'm saying, like, younger years, like 9, 10, 11, bro, I had this victim mentality, like my life was hard. And one day I was like, bro, everybody got a crazy, something that they have to overcome and endure. You know, one of my best friends as a child said, Tudor, I'll be right back. Got in a car with his brother, went down Australia and died. You know what I mean? So for a long time, I didn't think we grew old. All of my childhood friends died in some kind of crazy type of accident. And I was like, what did they do to deserve that? And I had survivor's guilt for a long time. So think about that, carrying that on. as you getting older, thinking like, okay, when is my time to go? Like, there is so much that we deal with internally as far as still operating and processing every day. Like Chris said, Chris got to get up every day and make it happen. Because if he don't, Chris gonna be out there homeless, and I'm gonna have to go take him a sandwich or two.
And crying ain't gonna motherfucking help.
I think that me and my wife was talking about that, and that's why I wanted to hear that. I'm glad Chris shared that, because like he said, some experience I don't have that experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to hear what Chris said, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of men who relate to Chris. Like, they're not really religious. They just fucking putting their armor on every day and fighting the war. You know what I'm saying? And that was good that Chris shared that. But I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, my definition of like, and maybe she always tell me I'm too stern, I'm too hard, and I'm too insensitive when it becomes to like a boy turning into a man, right? Because a lot of stuff I don't give a damn about. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you need to go through that. Like, I think about all the, like, see, some people say, well, you don't. No, you have to. I think about, my mom worked 3 jobs most of my life. But she tried to give me everything she could, right? She tried her best to do whatever she could, right? And when I finally got on my own, and she couldn't give me nothing no more. You see what I'm saying? Because she can't. But then it's like, even if she could, as a man, I don't want to take from her no more, because I'm a man. So I don't want my mama to give me nothing. So when she calling me saying, baby, do you got something? I'm like, nah. Chris can attest to this. I'm saying, yeah, we good. And he can tell you, he like, bro, y'all just be careful. Because we leaving the house and coming back with it. I'm saying, and it's because my mama the whole time is like, oh, they out there good. They going to school, because she was gonna send me her last 50 if I told her we didn't eat. When she say, how y'all doing? How Chris and everybody going? I have to say we okay. Because if not, she gonna call my auntie and a bunch of women. They gonna scrape up their last. So I could have came home. I could have did that, but it wasn't an option. And see, sometimes you gotta have that non-option to say, if I don't do this, nigga, I don't get no lights. I don't get no cable. I don't get no bed. Nigga, I don't sleep on the floor. Like, them things matter to you. Like, bro, I don't care what nobody say. When I went to Orlando and failed, went home, went back to Orlando, failed, went home, went to Atlanta, failed. Like, when I kept doing, like, I found a way. And I remember one day I was walking to work, and I had sold my car because it had broke down and everything. And it was snowing. I'm from Florida. And I was crying all the way to work. And I was mad at everybody. Then I had to say, bitch, who are you mad at? But you're 26, bitch, you mad at yourself? Like, what the hell? Like, how you mad? You the one decided to do this. You the one decided to best your college year trying to hustle and be Nino Brown. You the one who decided to have a kid when they made condoms in the 60s. And like, you, nigga, you. So don't cry about me about child support because you fucked without a condom. Don't call to me about you not having a car because you could have went to college and graduated and got you a good job. Or you could have been working in a warehouse at 18 or went to the army. It's you. Shut up and make it happen. I don't want to hear that. And once I went back home and laid on my dog Flo, because that's why I was sleeping at that time, I looked in the closet, see, I got a bunch of pair of tennis shoes. I got $200 in my wallet, and I'm walking to work. I said, I looked up in the sky and said, this is the last day I ever will be this low in my life again. And dog, it took that though, because my mama was working 3 jobs and it hurt me, but I didn't understand because I was still staying in her house, sucking up her air conditioner, borrowing her Explorer, hanging out. My uncle bought me an air conditioner. See what I'm saying? I was still living the fruits of life. But when like Tudor said, if I don't get up and go hit that clock or hit them rocks or do something, I won't eat. That's a whole different hunger. And I think every man should go through that. I don't give a damn. Because if you didn't go through that, then it's still a missing level of you that you haven't tapped into yet. You still got one more piece of you that you ain't really dug into. Because that part right there, bro, it ain't for the weak or hard, boy. That's the part too, time it break you, it make you want to quit. It make you want to say, fuck, that's because, boy, that's the part when you feel bad at yourself. You disgusted getting up in the morning. Like, how did I get here? Like, I'm not, like, what the hell? Where do I even go? And
I think that's the point that Chris was talking about, that holding it in. That what you're talking about, Harden, they have to go through that. so that they can fuel it, like Chris was saying. We not necessarily let you holding it in, but you got to use that to go, and then you also use that. You become a testimony of sorts, because now you can tell that young man that's coming up that it's tough right now. It's tough right now because it's building you. It's not tough right now for you to go and go pop yourself in the head. It's for you to get through it, but you got to get through it. But they got to have someone that's telling them you got to get through it, not someone that's going to say, oh, baby, it'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? And pat them along, because when that person is dead and gone, ain't nobody else going to do it. Everybody else going to say, what's wrong with you? You got arms, health, strength, nigga, go to work. That's how that's going to be. So, that's just how that needs to be channeled.
Emote.
What?
You can learn how to emote.
Bro, let me tell you something. When I lost it all,
okay.
Listen, I'm giving you 2 examples. I lost it all one time, and after our days of hustling T-shirts, bro, you know how much even my stepdad, it would take me and Zay, I need some tricking dope, right?
Like Super Friends podcast,
bro. You know how much money I gave away, and when I walked away and said, when God came and said, "Ain't no more, I'm done. You done." This second, those same people I used to give money to freely. Bro, I got a new baby. I got Tyler's a baby. Hey, can I get let me borrow $20 to get some formula. Look me right in the eyes. I ain't got it. Do you know, boy? Woo. But that was that man moment. You know what? I was the fool. Tyler ain't got nothing to do with that. I got a baby here because I chose to go out and swim naked that needs to be fed. Bro, those are those man moments where instead of walking around talking about all the money I done gave away, all the people I done did for, I ain't got no time for that. Right now, I got to find some formula to feed this damn baby and take care of my responsibility. One of those man moments.
And too, I remember, I know we can go on, but I remember I was, when I first went to Atlanta, I had no job. I had a car, so my daddy said, I go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to drop you off at the bus station. I ain't never caught a damn bus in my life. So I said, I'm going to drop you off at the bus station. And then I come back to work because he worked in the city at that point in time. He stayed at Kennesaw. So that's an hour and a half from traffic. So he get off at 6. So I don't see him at 7:38. So I'm going to meet you at the bus stop. The bus stop was at the mall. Figure it out. I'll be back here at 8. So I got a dub. Wow. So I'm wandering through the mall, filling out applications, catching the bus to another mall. I'm saying, and then I went back to his house. My daddy's house is stupid, right? 3 cars, all kind of shit. Right? I'm like, damn. So then I'm sitting here looking, and I remember I was talking to my homeboy Pat-Man called me here like, man, that house big as I said, yeah, that's his house. It's not my house. I say, this his water. This his bed I'm sleeping in. I'm like, bro, I'm grown. Like, at that point, I called my daughter. She was telling me how good school was. I'm like, what the hell? Like, my daddy said, oh, my son can come sleep in his house. But what am I doing with my daughter? So all the reality started hitting me in the head, bro. This is this man shit. This is not mine. I need to go. Bro, I was there for a month. I had 2 jobs and got the hell on. Mm-hmm. Bro, I could have stayed there as long as I could go to my dad always like, you always, I ain't giving you no money and I ain't buying you no car, but you always got a bed at my house. You know what I'm saying? But his house comes with his rules too. Ain't no girls, ain't no stand-up lane, ain't no drinking. Like, there's a lot of stuff because he's a very religious man. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh no, I'm straight. That's not the life I want to live. So I'm gonna stay here and abide by his rules until then. Bro, I told him I had 2 jobs, walking back and forth. Chris could tell you this. I had it. Bro, I saved up so much money, boy. I called Chris and said, come scoop me, bro. I was up. Because, bro, that's when I be telling people, man, Tootie was just talking about that 6 months of just doing nothing. Mm-hmm. I stayed up in Atlanta 6 months, and bro, all I did is go to work, come home, and run the neighborhood and work out. That's all I did for 6 months. Kyle would tell me to come to the club in Atlanta. Nah, bro, I ain't going. They'll tell me, Chris was like, I thought you going out there. I said, bro, I ain't doing nothing, bro. I'm going to 2 jobs, staying home. I don't care who called me. Jason called me, bro. I can come pick you up, bro. It ain't nothing, bro. Come through. Can't. I ain't doing nothing. I called Chris one day. He's like, what's going on? I said, bro, come get me. I'm good. Bitch, now I'm coming back to Orlando. They'll give me an apartment. Bought a drop. I came back in a whole mind state. And that was the dumbest decision I did because I went back and didn't have a job. So you see what I'm saying? So it's just like, but I know that 6 months of not doing nothing, I preach that religiously because it has worked. Bro. I'm telling you, boy, you can just 6 months of just saying, Screw everything. Don't invite me to no parties. Just I don't want to see no bar mitzvahs. Just don't invite me to no weddings. I'm sorry. If I miss it, I love you. Unless it's just got to be somebody who just like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of y'all had, I did that, bro. And that shit was hard. That's when Atlanta was on. Woo. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I seen it, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, bro. One of the things that men do have to go through is that, because as you know, like you were talking about with your father the same way. Well endowed man has everything that he wanted, like you said. And I remember when I came back from St. Louis. If you guys remember back, I told a wreck a brand new Impala that year, and I came back and had no vehicle, but I did have a job. So I remember asking my father, who has a truck that had maybe less than 10,000 miles on it that he bought brand new off the lot, let me borrow your truck for a week. I'm making $1,000 plus a week. I'm probably 2 weeks at the most. I'm gonna go and go get my car. The joker looked me right in my eye and said, no. Damn. You feel me? And that hurt that I held on to is what birthed that Volkswagen. I bought that joker the next week with my own money, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Hardy, because I went to work like, all right, I had to borrow a car from somebody to make this money. It hurt you like hell, like, damn, why my dad didn't? But it was something that he was trying to instill in your character. Hey, man, I did it on my own. You can do it on your own. But sometimes when that message isn't construed, it can be taken negatively, but it's actually in there to build you. And then when you birth that new creature out of those ashes, oh, you unstoppable. You don't worry about anything else. Matter of fact, you look and you take that fuel that you held onto and you laugh at it because you said that was sent to take me out. But look at me, here I am, here I stand victorious. And like I said, that story can lead into a youth. And when they're in a moment of disparity and think that they can't make it, they can always say, I remember Hardy said he did this. I remember Zay said he did this, Chris or Horace or whoever you may be to that person. Because again, you don't know how a person looks at you. So please, guys, if you listening, don't take the sucker route. I don't care if it's rough.
Got to go. I know Tudor want to wrap it up. I'm gonna say, but I'm saying this all to say this. What he was saying about Master P earlier, to go back in full circle, is this: Dylan and Mario and Lil Mario, I never know none of this stuff I'm telling you, right? Never. And it's gonna be the Romeo effect. And right now, it's crazy. With Jayla, I was struggling to make sure that she had in life, right? Like to make sure, because she understands what it is to have nothing, right? She understands what it is to have daddy in and out. She understands the struggle. So I had a different way of teaching them. Now with Dylan and Mario, my struggle is going to be, how do I not make you a spoiled, entitled little brat? Mm-hmm. Because everything, you're coming into a world right now where you have everything you ever wanted. You have stuff that I couldn't even dream of at your age. It's not a thing. Hair. Yeah, shit, I had long hair at that age. But, like, on rooms, on like almost anything you flip the magazine. It's not only just me giving it to them. I'm just saying they have an abundance of stuff. Like you stand in neighborhoods, you going to swimming lessons, like you're getting the life that I've been wanting to give my kids, right? But the scariest thing is that you're not from Revere. You don't understand hustle. You don't understand struggle. And people always say, well, just teach it to them because it sounds so cliche. But some stuff is so hard to teach because some stuff you got to go through. So as a dad now, like how Master P looked, that hurt, that the horse saying like that, bro. I sold CDs out the back of a trunk for you to be here. So when Tudor was saying that, I resonate with it. Like, bro, like I don't, because it's almost like I don't know how to reach to you because I'm talking that gangster shit. I'm telling you this street knowledge that people like us hear, but Romeo can't receive that because there was never Romeo like. Romeo is not from the Magnolia Project. Romeo ain't never ate peanut butter and jelly. Romeo ain't never had to worry about what shoes he was gonna wear. So when P talking that, we understood it, but his son didn't understand that because that was never life. And that's a strange place to be.
It's crazy that you say that, hard, because like you said, you use Master P and you have your design for what you want to do for the boys, right? But just like I'm telling you the lessons that we could talk to individuals and learn, you're learning. So what's gonna happen, hopefully, with you is you're gonna bridge the gap that P didn't see. P talked about it as he glorified it, really. Because they made money off it, and it's the reason why the family where it's at, and it can go oh so wrong for a couple of reasons. And I think about that because if you look at the Prince family, he glorified it. Look at his family. You see what I'm saying? But that's not the dynamic that you want. So if you bridge the gap, because I think that I had that struggle that you're talking about, trying to understand how this is, not realizing how privileged you are, but not understanding how to get there. you can actually, that's the teaching part of it, where you can lean into them. You can't tell them because, again, they may not grab all of it, but you can put it to where it's relatable. Now, at the end of the day, once you did the part that you can do, you can't do no more. You know what I'm saying? Which is give them the information out there. From that side, teaching and knowledge, you know what I'm saying, becomes power. But what they do with that knowledge, that's where you got to ask God for covering or mercy, because you can't control that. But
it's a serious thing. I'm looking at my other kids. I'm looking at my other kids. I'm looking at Monte, one of my closest homeboys, raising his kids. And if anybody know Monte, nigga strong as an ox, 6 foot. I'm looking at his little boy be 6'1", 205, and went to school, and he was finna get picked up. When he could squish, and I'm looking at the guys who finna pick on him, and like, bro, you can squish their head, but because you don't have that, what?
Mentality.
Stop playing with me, like how you just even look at, like, bro, I would never let nobody. He didn't have that because he grew up in a house on the golf course, riding.
Somebody told him to let it out.
Right. Because once again, his mama saying it's okay. Let's talk through this. And see, that's what happened when you were into those society. His school was telling him it's okay. We don't do that here. We just let it all out because now you don't have that. You see what I'm saying? And that's a fear. I don't care. Like, that's a fear of mine because I never was scared about having a son from the hood being the prey. I always had to worry about my son becoming a bad predator in my head, like stopping him from being a thug, stopping him from being a hooligan, stopping him from what happened when you the nigga who you don't want to raise the son who getting picked on, who getting bullied, who's the person who buys the drugs from Bankhead, because that's what they do in the rich schools. So now I would try, like some people trying to stop their son from being drug dealers, but now you got to start stopping your son from being drug takers, because that's what privileged people do. So I'm just saying, when P did that and Tootie brought that up about her, like I kind of, that was a pain. That was like a to me, like to pay attention, because I Romeo never had P life, and people tried to make him little P, but he never could be little P because he never had that life. It's no way P could paint the pictures of his world without he won't. He'll never understand what it means to grow up in the Magnolia Project.
Nah, he wouldn't survive. Hey, before we get out here lightning round, because it's supposed to be the topic, so I'm apologizing, Nene, but it'll be the B. Before we get out here, because Chris looked like he just drove a truck for 12 hours.
I don't know, bro. I went out and hooped Saturday, and I'm
see your audition tape. Trash.
Highlights with no defense. And we ain't even. I cropped out all the misses. And I'm still so. And you know what? I like to say I blame my daughter. Ever since I went to that competition where she lifting weights, I said I went to sign up for LA Fitness the same day and said I'm gonna start playing basketball, and I'm reaping the benefits from it now. I am in pain, good buddy.
Hey, I told Kylie, good job. I said to Kylie, I told Chris, I said, Kylie, you stronger than your daddy now.
I was impressed for sure. Chris, tonight you Black Men Lives Matter. That's the motto, right? On Nene, this is a question come from the show that you was on. This is a part B. As we close out lightning round, that means no rants. How do you create a safe space for men to be vulnerable? That is the question.
Well, I think that first we got to recognize that vulnerability for men doesn't look the same as vulnerability for women. So I think that if a woman pictures vulnerability, she can't think of that as a man, how a man would do it. What else? I think that if you want to make a safe space, if a woman want to make a safe space for a man, she has to stop comparing herself to a man. And we're not the same. We're not equal. We both have special talents. We're not the same. So if every time that, just like I was saying with the example with Amber, I know she probably don't mean any harm by it, but I say something, we say something as men, and then they challenge it or compete with us and say, well, we hurt too. That's a problem. I think I think women have to embrace masculinity. You can never say masculinity is toxic. You can say there's bad men, but you have to embrace masculinity if you truly want to have a safe space. And last but not least, close your damn mouth. Open your heart and your ears. Close your damn mouth, open your heart, your ears, and your mind. And that will create a safe space for women. I mean, for men. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, that is the lightning round from Chris, which I really expected. Listen, how do you create a safe space for men to be vulnerable? Ladies, I will say this. If you can get a man to talk to you, unless he's just a pillow talker, that means there is a section of trust that he has with you. If you can get a man to talk, that means he feels some comfort with you and he has some trust in you. Men don't talk to everybody unless he's one of those, Hermans or something. So with that being said, whether you understand it or not, listen to comprehend, but don't always listen to reply. Sometimes he might just be talking out, but just listen and believe this. What he's giving you is meant to stay with you, because you can cause some severe trauma if what he confides in you goes out to somebody else. Or what if he confides in you comes out when you get angry with him? Because a man, like I say, if a man trusts you and he feels safe enough to share and start to unpack some stuff, the last thing you should do is sabotage that safe harbor that he feel like he had. All right, Zay, the ladies man. You're the ladies man.
Yeah, man, that lightning round is fast. No, but it's simple. Nini, it just got to be solution based. The only reason why I'm saying that is because. Say it again.
Nitty.
My bad, Nitty.
Why I say
it has. He's correcting you.
Yeah, he ain't
correcting me, but he definitely didn't. He corrected me. But it's at the end of the day, like I said, it got to be solution based. It just can't be a space where you can come and be all mushy, and then you don't give a man direction. A man needs direction. If he's coming to you and he's venting, like Horace say, he's talking to you about some deep seated things that he don't probably talk to anybody about, but it's because he's lost. You feel me? And so give him a space to vent. I always call it the Oreo cookie. Good, bad, good. What's going on? You feel me? Get the good out, right? Address the bad and close it up with the good, because we as human beings only remember the last thing most of the time that a person said. Once we're getting out of that conversation, you can't remember the beginning or the end, so leave it off with something good. And that good thing should be a direction in which to get their life back on track or to get themselves back on track. Simple as that. But that's what I see. I don't know. You may see something else, Hart.
All right, Chris, before I go to Real Talk with
Nitty.
You
Think about this kitty. It's with an N.
Super Mario.
No, that's what I think about.
Let's go. Super Mario.
I remind. It's just you got to see. I'm that type of learner.
God,
amazing.
Amazing.
I think to have a safe space for men is just when you go in listening to learn, and I think learning to get an understanding. Because sometimes a man in a safe space is going to tell you exactly what he needs from you. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you go in not trying to solve a problem, go in not trying to correct him, go in not trying to lead him, go in not with no ambition on anything but to listen to learn. And he's going to tell you if he needs your assistance. He's going to tell you if he just want to talk. He's going to tell you if he want to just get stuff out of his stuff. And then when you leave, don't leave with judgment. Don't leave with a disposition of what you think he meant or what he think he should have said or what he think. Just listen, because I think a lot of times a man just needs somebody they can feel safe enough with to be vulnerable. And I think the first couple of times it's about seeing your reaction off of what they say. And when you react wrong, like Chris was saying, even if it's the intent is not to be malicious, when you react wrong, at the first sign of a man trying to be vulnerable, then he's gonna shut back down again. And then that safe place is no longer. The door don't shut for that. And he don't, like Chris said, he don't bottle it back up, and he don't learn that I can't be safe here. So let me keep going about my business. And I think that that's a wise word to a lot of women, that you have to go in and just sit there and just be still and listen to him. Like not listen to reply. Just listen. Because a lot of men don't have nobody to talk to. A lot of men don't.
Mario, let's have a Black Super Friends fact. I just thought about it. To your point, ladies, just men are trustworthy. And how why would you say that, Horace? You know how many times y'all come home and y'all talk our head out talking about who done tried you at the job? At no time do I recall any of my friends come in and be like, "Oh yeah, Lisa told me how Nancy at the job tried her."
Right.
Nah, because that's a safe conversation. So just like y'all unload and talk about who tried you at the work, at the church, or wherever, men want that same thing. So yeah, that's a good example to put out there.
And
All
I'll tell
right.
you this: if you feel safe, just like if a man feels safe with a woman, he'll tell her stuff that he'll never tell his homeboys.
Yeah.
She can. That's why she can unlock. That's why pillow talk is so dangerous because she can unlock the gates to the Pandora box.
Samson.
Right,
For real.
Well, be honest, that's kind of been some of these lives been going wrong too.
That's
So
a
you
fact.
tell the wrong chick, she gonna get on live and go tell all the
You're
business.
through. You're done, son.
Oh,
You
man.
wonder how
don't
Twitch
help-
killed this.
Damn, that's a good point too. And
Yeah.
that don't help y'all either. I always tell my wife this: in order for you to change the narrative, you're a good one, right? In order for you to change the narrative on other women and not be grouped into that women, you got to check those women. Because see,
Yep.
if you're a woman, like right now, men always checking sorry men, no matter what women say. We always, if you look on shows like even horror, even the ones who perking, lying, and capping, forgetting women, you can always easily tap in and see a man checking other men. You can see gangsters saying it ain't cool not to take care of your kids. You a sucker if you beat a woman. You can always see men checking men. Very rarely, unless a
You
woman
ain't
maybe
wrong,
like
crew.
if a woman harm her child, then a woman will say something when it's the unthinkable. But if a woman just say something wrong, like outspokenly nasty against her husband, I don't see an uproar in women just saying that's wrong. How dare you talk to a good man like that? I don't see women checking women at a high rate, and it's a lot of good women who say something. I mean, who see something and don't say
Don't
nothing.
say that.
And that's
And
a
you have too many of
epidemic
them.
that needs to stop. I'm gonna say it again. There's a lot of good women who see things and don't say nothing, and that's an epidemic that needs to stop.
You mean like accusing them of shooting them when they didn't? You mean like accusing them of drugging and raping them and then becoming famous after that? You mean like being a accused, admitted, and convicted drug smuggler and then having to be traded for a war criminal and don't even have to apologize, don't have to do an interview, say thank you, or even go to drug rehab? Maybe you talking about.
I heard a joke today that said, "Why don't you ever hear men say feminine, mass, what you call it?
Toxic femininity?
Yeah, toxic femininity."
Toxic.
He said, "Because the minute a man say that, he's showing toxic masculinity."
Masculinity.
He said, "If a man say that, that's toxic masculinity." So you can't even. That's the point. A woman can point out toxic masculinity all the time. The minute a man point out a woman showing toxicness, oh, that's a toxic man. So it's like you can't. You damn if you do, you damn if you don't. It's a crazy world out here. Be blessed.
Yeah. Hey, well, I still got my guy. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go to Zay first. Gonzarelli.
Yes, sir. What we doing, brother? Y'all done swung us again. What we doing? What we doing?
We doing closing the comments. We've been here 2 hours, man.
We only doing this show.
I learned from y'all. Y'all went so many different ways. I got lost in it. I was learning. Hey, man. What's the question?
Yeah, me too. I go one way, Zay.
No,
damn, what you just been told.
Joe Budden.
My ass. That's a horrible joke.
Did you say your ass?
Boy, I would drive over your mama. I would drive over there and do donuts on your yard. What's that Joe Budden?
She gonna machete your ass up. You bring your ass.
That is the wrong joke to tell right now with Joe Budden. Yeah, Button. That's what he should be called.
Hey, man.
Joe Button.
Get back on. What's the question, bro? For real.
Hey man, go on with the gay stuff up.
Are you gonna say the question?
Close the comments, Zay. This
Good night.
guy sucks, man.
I learned from you. Good night.
Hey, we don't want to hear about y'all escapades. Close the
Man, please. Tell about that one time at band camp.
Oh man, nasty time.
Close the comments, Zay.
Hey,
I just said good night, bro. Good
Oh my God.
night.
You guys suck,
Amazing.
man.
Hey.
The Dolphins lost. That's what it is. The Dolphins
So did
lost.
Tampa Bay. Let me tell you something. My brother made a great post. So you said closing. There's this thing called haters. We all say we not haters, but why do you mention? As nobody mentioned the Dolphins and the Cowboys more than these people.
Don't, Zay.
They team be losing.
Don't try to trauma bond.
Nothing.
So he mentioned the Cowboys. He mentioned the Cowboys to try to get you on board with them. So the Cowboys, even if they worse,
y'all keep our names in y'all mouth and y'all suck.
I know what to do with you,
That's
Zay,
all
bro.
that happens.
Hey, silence.
It's a lie. That's how the women do too. They don't want to hear it. They silence you.
Hey, close comments, Chris.
Man, I don't know when the last time you guys went to the club, but I like to invite you guys to the club. I like to invite all the viewers into the club. And what club I'm talking about? The Mug Club. I would like you guys to buy a mug. Christmas is right around the corner. If you buy it today, the chances of you getting it on Christmas is minimal. But doesn't mean you can't make it a New Year's gift or after New Year's gift. Welcome to the Mug Club. You are all invited. Thank you.
All right. Mario.
Hey, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for bearing with us. We had a lot to get off our chest. This is the vent show. We've been in a lot tonight. We ain't did one of these in a while. We've normally been trying to stay on topic and in the right time, but the night just went off the rails. So thank y'all for bearing witness. But next Monday, let me tell you something. If everything goes as planned, this is the one you're going to want to call your friends about. This is the one you might want to take off on Tuesday about. And this is the one you're going to want to have one of those beautiful mugs that Chris and fill it up with yak. Because I'm telling you, you're going to need something because it's going to be an explosive show. I can guarantee you we're going to have a whole show devoted to the mockery that we've been getting. Because it should be a couple cases wrapping up or at the finishing end of wrapping up. And a lot of news that's going on coming off of Christmas and everything. Listen, if you never tuned in before, if you never party watched before, please, everybody out, just come on in, listen, and come on in and join the Black Super Friends, the Christmas editions. I can tell you, some of y'all gonna leave as Scrooge.
We can't wait to see you ho-ho-hos.
Hey,
For Christmas.
What? No, I'm talking about Santa Claus. What?
That's why we stay on. That's why we get fined all the damn
I'm
time.
just saying. No, I'm talking about Santa Claus. I'm being in the Christmas spirit.
This dude
That's what I'm talking about.
This dude over at FCC right now said,
H-O, not H-O-E.
you don't have to hear about Master P taking our money. Chris give us all to the FCC.
Yeah. They got a picture of that joker right there. What is he gonna say tonight? Another fine. Hey, listen. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I was at the helm and I lost control. It was a lot of stuff that just needed to be said this week. We talked about the Cowboys. We talked about the Dolphins. We talked about Jackson State University. We talked about Dion. We talked about Tory Lanez and Megan. We talked about Gunner, Young Thug. We talked about all kind of stories, and we somehow got serious in the end to talk about suicide in Black men. And we also answered a viewer question talking about what can we do to create a safe space for men. So thank y'all. Go back, share it, because I'm going to clip it up. And just check us out, man. We appreciate people that actually tune in to watch what we got to say. Man, that's just amazing. So thank y'all for joining us another week, and we will see you next week. And I don't think it's 2022. Yeah, the last show of 2022 is next week. Yeah, we're going to get it in, so it should be good. Check us out later. Peace out.